Hi friends, so my name is Renee. I am a mother, I'm a wife, and I'm an active duty service member. I'm also a woman who has 3 different children by 3 different men. I was a single mother for 13 years and I don't have a degree. I've been working towards my associates since 2005. But now that I have your attention, let's chat. Today we're going to talk all about using your statistics as your motivation. So I am every statistic that you could think of. I was a single mother. I'm an African American female. I was a teenage mom. I don't have a degree. A little bit of everything is sprinkled into me. But those of you who've been on my platform before, who've been to my Instagram, first of all, if you haven't, you should check it out. All real-time updates are going to be on my Instagram. But those of you who have seen me before or see me in person or see me even on these social media platforms, you would never guess until I tell you. So today we're going to talk all about how I used my statistics as my motivation, that extra little oomph to boost me to get me where I am today. Right now, I'm a successful sergeant in the military. I have 3 beautiful children that I gave birth to. I have 5 children collectively, and I am in a successful marriage. In my level of standards, I'm doing okay. So I want to get you there too. So let's go ahead and chat. I'm going to give you 3 of my top ways to use that motivation and get started on living your best life, sis. The first thing I want to talk about is redefining your why. Now, if you've been on my platform for a while, this video might take you back to old Renee, sitting in her room, single, just with so much fire, talking to all the women of the world because we are about to be great together. Now, I am going towards finding my greatness, but I feel like I lost some people along the way. I feel like my channel has changed, and instead of continuing to talk to my audience, I tried to pick up other people's audience. And I just had an epiphany that I lost my audience. I lost my why. I lost my way when it came to this platform and what this platform meant for me. And I wasn't understanding why there wasn't any growth, why there wasn't any engagement. And it was because I lost my audience. I stopped talking to that mom out there who's trying to get it in balance, being a mom and hustling and going after her dreams, and these little people that are looking up at her. I lost my way. So we have to redefine our why. What is your reason? And yes, my kids are my reason. I got it. But kids grow up. They have different needs. We have 3 different age levels in our home. We have a 2-year-old. Her needs are the basic needs of life. She's all about the id. If you took in psychology or sociology, you know about that id. I want it now. It's going to give me pleasure. So food, shelter, some cold milk. Sis is happy, right? My 10-year-old, he is my thinker. He is all about, why is the world going round? And why do we do this? And why do we do that? And why don't you do this? And why did you make that decision in life? And yeah, so he needs that stimulation, that thought process, that feeling that he is worthy even at 10 years old. And my 16-year-old, he needs that push to get him going, to start thinking about life outside of our home. He has 1 solid year left. So he has to start thinking about how is he going to take care of himself, and what does his future look like, and what does he want to do with his life, and just start the process. We're going to be there to help him, but start the process of really claiming his independence. So we have different needs in our home, and my children's needs from me is different than years ago. So every now and then you have to redefine your why. My why right now is to help nurture the younger kids and then also help challenge my older son. But my why is also me. I have a husband now. So what what do I need to provide to him? What is he providing to me? How are we strengthening and enduring that relationship? And then also my career. I'm now a sergeant in the military. So way back when I wasn't. And my thought process had nothing to do with anyone else's career but mine. But now I have soldiers and I have to think about how I can continue to push them to want to be great and seek more and establish their career. So my why has evolved. So every now and then you have to go and you have to rehash what your why is. And there's some things that were a why that now are not a why. Maybe there was someone in your life that's no longer there, or maybe there was a career that you left and you've changed your career or relocated. So those reasons are not your why anymore. Maybe you had a fallout with someone and they just aren't part of the picture anymore. You have to figure out what your why is and write it down. And the reason we always say write it down, write it down, write it down is so that you can go back to it. A lot of times when you're looking for something, there is no measurable action attached to it. So if you don't write it down, if you don't say today, this date, I felt this way, I wanted this, you can't go back to it. And that's why I love journaling. I absolutely love journaling because I can go back to that actual date and time and that point in my life and be like, wow, I felt this way. I was so unsure. I had no idea. And look at me now. Look at me now. And I wouldn't be able to really do that assessment had I not wrote it down. So journaling is something that's really, really big for me. And if you guys are not into journaling, I do have a guided prompted journal on my Etsy page. Just small plug. It helps you kind of get through your thoughts. So in self-discovery, and then I also have a goal planner. So definitely check that out, and I will be linked down below. Redefining your why is number one. You have to know where you're going. You have to know what the end state is in order for you to get there. If you have no idea where you're going, you don't know what decisions you need to make to get there, you don't know which path you need to take to get there. So you have to know where you're going, sis, in order to navigate getting there. The second one is realizing that you don't look like what you've been through. So someone reached out to me, someone very close to me reached out to me and was like, hey, Nay, when did you know it was time to rebrand your life? And I really was kind of taken back by that because I haven't rebranded my life. I grew up. I don't look like what I've been through. In order for someone to know the ins and outs of some of the things I've been through, I had to tell them. And I don't tell them a lot. A lot of times I've had a friend for a long time. We've gotten close. They get to know my family. You know, they're kind of in the in crowd. And my in crowd is very, very small. But they're in the in. And then one day I'll be like, hey, so did you know A, B, C, and D? And they'd be like, huh? Girl, what? And I'm like, oh, yeah, by the way, you know. And it kind of takes them back. And I don't do it out of shame because, y'all, I've been through a lot. I say that. And I always pause after I say that because there's so many people who have stories way worse than mine. Like, I have been so blessed and covered my entire life. But a lot of things that I put myself through or are residue from things that happened when I was a child that I had nothing to even do with have really shaped who I am. But I don't share a lot because some of the things that I could say would change someone's point on me. So if someone said a person had a parent who was in prison, they would be like, like that person just isn't educated, is a thug, no, it's me. Or I have 3 kids by 3 different men. I love that one. I do, because people will talk so bad about single mothers and people who have multiple children from it. You know what it means? It means that I had a relationship and I fell in love and it didn't work out and I didn't learn. So I did it again and I didn't learn, but then I learned and I got married and I made the conscious decision to have a child, and that's fine. So yes, in my household, there are a lot of different last names, but who would I be without my children? They made who I am. That is part of my journey, and it's not something that I'm ashamed of. So owning who you are and owning your past and realizing that it's okay. It's okay to have a past. We all had to go through our ups and our downs. But had you not gone through whatever it is that you went through, you wouldn't be who you are today. If I didn't have my son at 17, I probably would be a doctor, maybe. Or something else would have came and deterred me. Who knows? But he changed the nature of who I was. He started me going and becoming this woman that I am today. Yeah, it was rocky all around road, but the instant that I had him, I stopped being lazy. I stopped being selfish. It was all about him. And it really just redirected my thought process and made me independent and strong, and taught me that even though I'm a woman and I come from such hardship, I hate that word because I came from a different background, I still had a right to be strong and be solid and create this life. And no was no longer an answer because I had a child. So yeah, I would never change that. I love my son and he's such a good boy, and it just reminds me that I did okay. So knowing that, yes, you have a past. We all do. But your present is what you need to focus on. You need to focus on where you're going and how you're going to get there, and making the best decisions to getting there. Stop being on this hamster wheel of life. Man, I remember I would always say it's always something. Every time I try to get ahead, it's always something. Somebody needs something that put me in a bad spot, or I make a bad decision. Man, I left a job to go back to school and live in my basement. Oh my gosh. Man, my 20s were a hot mess. But I had to make that decision that, you know what? The rest of my life is going to be the best of my life. And I'm going to make those hard decisions to get myself there. Period. So it's time for you to create your own identity, and not by being a chameleon and shape-shifting and doing all of that. Not rebranding who you are, but growing up. It's time to grow up. It's time to make better choices. It's time to be smarter about your money. Sis, your money and your credit. It's time to get on the other side of the struggle. And that's going to be hard. It really is, because you have to make extravagant changes. Y'all, I joined the military. Y'all, I joined the military. You have to make extravagant changes in order for these blessings to come upon you. Since I made that decision, everybody thought I was crazy. I probably thought I was crazy. I'm pretty sure there were times when I was like, what the heck are you doing? But I did it. And it wasn't easy. I had to go back like 3 or 4 times. I remember going to MEPS, and you sit there, your person drops you off, and you do all the things you need to do, and they pick you up. You can't just drive there. And I went and I was missing one piece of paper, and I had to just sit there for hours in a chair. I couldn't get anything done. I had to just sit there for hours in a chair and wait for someone to pick me up. And I went back after that. And here I am almost 7 years later in a totally different headspace, different discipline, different life, because I decided to make an extravagant change. So it's not join the military. That's not what this channel is about. This channel is about going after what you desire and making it happen for yourself. So now what? Now what? Now that we've gone back to the basics and we've redefined what matters to us, we know what direction we're going to go in. And now that we realize, okay, I have a past and I've been through a lot and I've made some pretty bad decisions. When I got married to my husband, we had to have a whole come to Jesus. I was like, all right, look, let me just lay all this out on the table. This happened, ABC. I made this decision. I did this. Stupid, right? But this is why. This is why I did this. In that headspace, I was thinking this, and I was thinking it was a good decision. It really, 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 really wasn't. But I knew I had something explaining to do when somebody came into my life and decided that they wanted to spend the rest of their life with me. And he was like, okay. Okay, well, shoot, here's what I did too. And I was like, okay. So it is possible to be happy and with someone, and someone to accept the life that you have lived before you met them. You can't be judged for anything you did before you met someone. Now, you could judge yourself, but you can't be judged by them because you don't even know they exist. I know you exist. I know you was coming around to love me. So it's okay to have a past. We all do. We all do. But the deeper that you hide them skeletons in that closet behind the bags and the shoes and the clothes and the good makeup and the hair, the harder it's going to be to recover and heal from them. So now what? Now you make better decisions. You decide that you're going to live your best life, that the rest of your life, like I think I say this all the time, the rest of your life is the best of your life. It's not new year, new me, baby. It is, okay, it's a new year. Thank God I'm blessed. I'm happy, and I'm in a better position than I was January of last year. So I'm continuing to move in the right direction. I'm continuing to push forward. That is what's next. That is the now what. The now what is making those hard decisions, telling people no. Ain't nobody asking me for money. I remember people used to ask me for money all the time. And I'm like, oh, I got to give it to them. And then I start saying no. I cannot provide for my kids. I cannot maintain this level of life that I am trying to create if I give to you. So I'm going to need you to find a better way. But it ain't me. And that's just, people don't ask me no more because I let them know I have to focus on my vision. I have to focus on my children. I have to focus on my household. I have to focus on those that are right in front of me, because if I don't, they're going to fall by the wayside and we're going to continue in this hamster wheel, and it's not okay. So you have to get smart about your money. In my 20s, I remember looking at my credit, and it was in the 400s, and I was like, oh, this is just my reality. This is what was handed to me. I didn't know. I lived in this funk of I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. No one taught me. Okay. And I was not able to get a car, or I was able to get a buy here, pay here card. Okay. Been there, sis. Been there. And paying a ridiculous amount for a car that wasn't even stable, that I didn't even know if I could take my kids to school or pick them up or go to work safely, let alone travel to see family. So you have to get your money right. So again, in my Etsy, this is not even a plug, but I do have it's about 10 things that I did to change my credit. And I increased my credit score by 75 points, y'all. 75 points. And not even that, it's going to be good for 1 month. So do it right before you go buy a house, or you go get a car, or you try to do this, because it's only going to be good for 1 month. Nah, I hate those places or those tips. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That's going to fall right off. Like, why would you even tell people that? No, these are easy tweaks. I mean, so simple. I was so surprised at how simple it was for me to impact my credit positively. So check that out on Etsy. It is a digital upload, so you're going to print it at home, or you can download it to your phone or to your computer, and you can just have it there. You can just read through it. It's not something I'm finna mail you. You finna just download and read it, sis. So get that and really, really, really change your credit outlook. I'm telling you. Now I can go in and I can get whatever I want. I remember there was a number for us to buy a house. And when I surpassed that number, but we still aren't buying a house because that's just not, it doesn't make sense for us right now. But to know that I reached that goal is crazy. It's crazy, guys. Like, it is crazy knowing where I came from, because I made these choices. I redirected myself in the path that I knew I needed to go in order to be happy, to be successful, to be stable. Stability is key when it comes to me. I come from instability, and I need it so much. And probably OCD a little bit, but it's helped me to create this life that I love, and I'm happy. I'm happy. So the last thing you need to do is establish a community. It's hardest of them all is establish a community, because you can't just be like, oh, I want you, oh, I want you, oh, I want you. Nah, sis, you've got to let people come naturally and just kind of be like, my friend. I'm just like, how do we even become friends? Like, how does this even work? we're so opposite, but we're so alike as well. And we started just working out together, just walking, just, okay, let me help you and you can help me. Let's get out there and work out. And it established a friendship. Now a true, solid, crazy, like her mom would be like, y'all just inseparable. And I'm like, I don't even know how this happened, but you're right. You know, I talk to her every day. My phone is either her or my husband. That's it. So establish a community and, you know, pray for the things that you want. Pray about it. And unfortunately, when you pray that God takes away people who don't need to be in your life, it happens. They start falling by the wayside. You start having situations that you don't even understand. Like, how did this even happen? Like, why are we even beefing? Like, why are you even acting like that? Like, why don't I even talk to you? Why are we not close anymore? Why is the bond? But that's because that person wasn't pushing you towards being a person that you needed to be. They weren't moving into your next season, so you had to let them go. And it's very hard. I left a lot of people in 2020, y'all. I think they figured it out by now, but a lot of people. So I am Renee, and I'm just here to empower you to look at your life and really evaluate where you're at and where you want to go. And when you decide where you want to go, start mapping out how to get there. And we're going to get there together. So thank you guys so much. I would love for you to join this channel. A lot is going to change in the channel. I kind of got carried away because I enjoy a certain type of content, but that's not my purpose. And I had to reel it back. So if you subscribe, I promise you'll get more of this type of content, because this is my purpose, is to talk to people who look like me and are on different parts of this journey. And we together can just create a solid community of women who empower one another and just push each other to being great in whatever facet we decide. You know, it doesn't have to be the army. It could be a cosmetologist. It could be esthetician. It could be a homemaker. You could just want to be home and raise amazing, beautiful, well-rounded children, and that is okay. But what is it that you want to do, and how can we help you get there? So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next upload. Bye.